If you wanna meet them at the front gate, you wanna make it into heaven's gates, you gotta walk up that narrow and straight. You gotta walk up that narrow and straight. If you wanna meet them at the front gate, you wanna make it into heaven's gates, you gotta walk up that narrow and straight. Hey, what up, what up? It's your boy Toby D, and you already know what it is. It's pound for pound. Falcons fam, it is now time to get ready for week 2 to hopefully get that nasty taste out of our mouths from a week 1. I'm sorry, I have to call it embarrassment. All that talk about red zone work and red zone packages and new wrinkles, none of that showed up on Thursday night. So now we have another week to see if any of that stuff is going to work. Now, from my understanding, it was in the game. They did try some new wrinkles. They did do some things differently, but it just didn't work. And execution did play a huge role, but I told y'all last podcast that we did not want to hear anything about excuses of execution. And look, all of a sudden, what are we hearing? Execution being an issue. At some point in time, you can't still have execution problems with all these vets on the offense. Ladies and gentlemen, there ain't a lot of rookies on this offense. So why in the HE double hockey sticks are we having execution issues still? You got an 11-year vet in Matt Ryan and a 8-year vet in Julio Jones. Alex Mack has been in the league a while. Andy Levitre has been in the league a while. Jake Matthews and Ryan Schrader has been in the league not as long as Andy Levitre and Alex Mack, but they've been in the league a while. To the point they've gotten their second contracts. But we look so bad. And now we're about to face another strong front. And it ain't no surprise that they had 6 sacks, the Carolina Panthers, that is, against Dak Prescott. I mean, look what we did to him last season when we had Adrian Claiborne. Adrian Claiborne had 6 sacks by himself. They got it collectively. But there's no surprise about this team getting sacks. They have high sack numbers every year because they are a good front. They got one of the best linebacker corps in the league in Luke Kuechly, Shaq Thompson. Now, Thomas Davis is still out, of course, because he had like a 3-game suspension. But he will be back. Even though he's a little longer in the tooth, he can still play some ball. Then you went and signed Dontari Poe to already add to a dangerous front and Julius Peppers and Keanu Short. So there's a lot of guys up front that is going to be hungry to get to the Atlanta Falcons simply because they watched that game against the Eagles where they sacked us 4 freaking times. So you know they're going to be hungry, and Dontari Poe is going to be extremely hungry because we decided not to re-sign him and go get some other guys to fill his position, and Terrell McLean and Deidre Sanat. Well, Deidre Sanat looked pretty good, holding up the point of attack. And I think he's going to get better as time goes along, guys. Now, I did have a small thinking pattern of hoping they would go after Jonathan Hankins, but for whatever reason, nobody seems to be going after Jonathan Hankins. Now, if he is on the team, somebody please comment that, because I haven't heard him signing with anybody. From my knowledge of it, I don't think he's playing for anyone yet. So I don't know what happened with that. But the Falcons seem to be very confident in the guys that they have, and Jack Crawford, Derek Shelby, Deidre Sanat, and Terrell McLean, that these guys are going to get better as time progresses. And I believe the same thing. I'm going to ride with Dan Quinn on this. Now, everybody knows that the cameras, Falcons fans, Marquand Manuel, who will have a front row seat with Dan Quinn, is all going to be watching the premiere of Duke Riley, period. Let's don't even sugarcoat it. We are all looking to see if Duke Riley is going to rise to the occasion with Deion Jones being on injured reserve, which was a huge blow for the Falcons. Now, let's don't even sugarcoat that. Even Marquand Manuel said that we can't just gloss over that. That's going to hurt, not having two key pieces in your defense in Keanu, Neal and Deion Jones. And now you got Duke Riley out there. I know good and well most of you fans, including myself, now I want to have some faith in him, especially after what he said during his presser today, his interview, however you want to call it. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I'm not scared to death of him being out there, especially with what I saw him doing the Jets game. Now, I give you this much. He did improve as the preseason went along when he got more snaps, and that could benefit him with Deion Jones not playing a lot in the preseason, and he got those snaps, those reps. It could benefit him in this game. Now, he was asked today, do you expect teams to come after you because you are the new guy and you're taking over for Deion Jones? And he says he hopes they do. He wants them to come after him. He's begging them, please, come after me. Now, while I admire his confidence, Sunday he's going to get that challenge with Christian McCaffrey. Cam Newton is going to be glad to give him that to go to the party, okay, on Sunday. And Christian McCaffrey is probably licking his chops right now because there's no Deion Jones out there. And Cam Newton, you know he's glad Deion Jones is probably not going to be out there. I'm sorry. You can sit here and think that these players is all crying and stuff when star players are not out there, especially ones that give them fits. But you know there is a larger portion of them that is glad that they're not going to have to face what they deem as a nuisance, because let's be honest, he gives Cam Newton fits and he gives Drew Brees fits. I know Drew Brees sitting over there. I know you're not supposed to look ahead, but I know Drew Brees has got to be thinking, week 3 can't come fast enough without Deion Jones, who gives me fits and intercepts my ball every time in key moments when I don't want him to and takes points away from me. It's not going to be there because Alvin Kamara is going to have him a day, especially after having him a day in week 1 against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Despite all the points they put up, that defense was getting torn up. And Alvin Kamara was one of the reasons for that. Him and Michael Thomas. Speaking of Michael Thomas, man, can y'all believe the wealth of riches of wide receivers just in this division alone? You had all the key wide receivers have over 120 plus yards in a game. 3 of them in the same game with Tampa Bay and New Orleans Saints. Michael Evans, or Mike Evans as you call him, Deshaun Jackson before he went out with the concussion, and Michael Thomas all in one game had 120 plus yards and at least 1 touchdown in that game. Julio Jones kicked it off on Thursday night with 169 yards. Now, unfortunately, he couldn't join them in the touchdown category, but I believe he's going to get him some on Sunday. Guys, do y'all realize we are 4-2 against the Carolina Panthers under Dan Quinn since after that drubbing they gave us up there in Charlotte with a 38-0 loss? We vowed that we were not going down to them after that this time. Dan Quinn challenged that team. When we got ready to play them again, I believe in week 15, he challenged them to step up to the plate and see if you can raise your level of play to theirs, and we have ever since. And another thing, guys, you may not even realize, and I believe that this is going to be Vic Beasley's week. He is going to get a sack or 2 off of Cam Newton. He loves to play and sack Cam Newton. Just about every time he plays against this guy, he gets close to him and sacks him. Go look it up. I don't know how many sacks he's got, but I can tell you he loves Cam Newton. And another person who loves to play against Cam Newton, Grady Jarrett. And I believe a lot of that motivation stems from the fact that because of Cam Newton's arrogant ways, yes, to me, he has arrogant ways about him. Okay? And he taunts you when he makes plays on you, especially when he runs the ball. He's 250 and 6'5". He don't feel like nobody can stop him. And Duke Riley, once again, you're going to get a Cam Newton coming to the party, because not only is he going to be looking forward to getting Christian McCaffrey on you, but he going to be running at you. What you going to do? What you going to do when he come for you? I'm just saying. You've invited. You're going to get a lot of guys showing up to the party. Now, the question will be for you, are you going to allow them to be party crashers, or are you going to control it? I'm hoping you do the latter. Controlling it, and not the other. Letting them party crash your party that you have invited them to. That's all I'm saying. But I feel good about taking on Cam Newton, because if there's two quarterbacks we know that Dan Quinn has the recipe for beating, one of them, if you guessed it, is number 12, Aaron Rodgers. And number 2 is Mr. Cam Newton. I don't know what he's got on these guys. Scouting reports, they are on the money, because he figures out how to beat those two quarterbacks. They have to be at the top of his list of guys that he beats. And it don't even matter who the defensive coordinator is. Y'all ever realize that? Dan Quinn has taken such a pride in being able to beat these two guys that it don't even matter the defensive coordinator. Every defensive coordinator we had, and we've only really had 2.5, because, you know, Dan Quinn took over calling plays in 2016 while we were making that Super Bowl run. But Richard Smith has not had an issue beating Cam Newton or Aaron Rodgers. And sure enough, Marco Emmanuel come to the table. And it's almost like it's a tradition. There can't be a defensive coordinator that lets you down and don't beat Cam Newton and Aaron Rodgers. But that's why I'm confident in this game. Now, we should have swept them last year. But as Dennis Green would say, they were who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. That's exactly what we did last year. We blew some plays that should have been made. I'm not going to rehash them, because y'all already know what it is, because we're in the 2018 season now. We're not in 2017. But I'm going to tell you right now, both teams is coming in here and going into this Mercedes Benz Stadium. They're looking to get their red zone scoring on track, because you got the Falcons, who were 1-5, of course, in the red zone last week, week 1. And then you got really Cam Newton and his squad, the Carolina Panthers, that were no better. They scored one more touchdown, but they were 2-5. And both of those teams are under 50% in the red zone. So somebody's going to be looking to do, as Dan Quinn would say, set it off. Now, I'm hoping that is not Carolina and that is us doing the setting it off. But we shall see. Steve Sarkisian, you got to come on with it, baby. You got to come on with it. Your replacement is right there up in the press box where Dan Quinn really likes to have his OCs at, as opposed to being on the field. You don't convince Dan Quinn you want to be on the field. You should be on the field. You got eyes up top with Greg Knapp. Now you got to show us why you want to be on the field and make play calls that make sense. Now, there were some good things that I saw that Steve Sarkisian did. Now, it's going to depend on how he sets all of that up from what he introduced in that game against the Philadelphia Eagles. But we shall see how it unfolds. And look, I know Julio Jones is the man. Matt Ryan has admitted as such that when they have opportunities and it's Julio's day, it's going to be Julio's day. They are going to target him because he is the man. He wants the money. We got to get him the money. And that's what we're going to do. Now, I would like for him to have more than 3 touchdowns, even though I didn't make a gripe about all of that, because the man still deserves to get paid in my eyes regardless, because he is still one to keep defenses and defensive coordinators up at night. And you have to game plan for him. He's a huge part of your game planning. And he takes up a lot of your time from game planning for the other guys, which is why we should not be struggling the way that we have under Steve Sarkisian. Now, there's a chance that Devontae Freeman is not even going to be able to play. They promoted Brian Hill up. They seem to still believe in Brian Hill, even though they cut him. He goes on the practice squad of San Francisco, and then I don't know the other stop he made, but he ends up being right back here at the Falcons, and they promote him up from the practice squad to the 53-man. But there's a strong chance because of the soreness in Devontae Freeman's knee that he suffered a tweak or so in the game against the Eagles, that he's not going to play, and it's going to be the Tevin Coleman and Ito Smith show. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm actually a little bit excited about the Ito Smith coming in with Tevin Coleman. I want to see really what this guy can do. This guy has some potential. He can catch out the backfield, and he's fast. Now you got Tevin Coleman and Ito Smith on the field. These guys can take it to the house. And I'm excited about that, to see how that's going to go if Ito Smith is going to be able to shine in this game. Now, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough sledding, because you're going to be playing against another defensive front that does not give up a lot of yards in the run game. You got to figure out how to get them, because what we have known, the times we've been able to beat them, is because, not necessarily because we can run over 100 yards, which that's hard to do, and we haven't really done that a lot against that defense, but because the yards we do run are effective enough to get them caught up in play action. And that's tough too. This team is a very disciplined team under Ron Rivera. You're going to have to come with it. And they're going to be super confident, already being 1-0, feeling like the division is theirs once again, because they missed out on it last year and the year before after winning it 3 years straight. You know that has to be in their mind, that they want to get back to their winning ways of winning the division. And this week, week 2, is where we begin to shut that down and feed them humble pie. Straight up humble pie. We cannot allow that offense to get going with Devin Funchess, Torrey Smith, and I don't even know who the other wide receivers are. Greg Olsen is out. They're going to be missing at least 3 out of 5 of their starting offensive linemen. Guys, yes, we done lost a few guys on our defense, but this is an opportunity for us to take advantage of a team right now that's coming in crippled. There is no reason for us not to win this game and get on track and get ready for the New Orleans Saints, because we're going to need that confidence going in. We cannot afford to go down 0-2. They already was talking about the New Orleans Saints being 0-2, starting out 0-2 4 out of the 5 years. 4 out of 5 years, you starting out 0-2. Now, they got blessed when they were able to shake that and win the division, but that still holds on their record. We cannot afford to start out 0-2, guys, period. So we have got to rise up and come in here ready to play, not making any excuses, finally getting the offense going. Okay, Steve? Or this could very well be another situation where how Dan quietly took over the play calling, just like it was mentioned on a radio, a sports radio station I like to listen to. Greg Knapp could do the same thing, and Greg Knapp is already up in the press box, like I said, where Dan Quinn really likes his offensive coordinators to be, because he feel like they can see the field even better up there as opposed to on the field. And that's just his thought process in it. But Steve Sarkisian, since you convinced Dan that you need to be on the field and be more interactive with the players, because that's where your energy comes from, you got to come with it, man. You got to call a better game. You got all these weapons, man. We cannot afford to see these guys, Austin Hooper, Eric Salbert, Mohamed Sanu, Tevin Coleman, Julio Jones, possibly Devontae if he plays, Calvin Ridley, who you convinced the Falcons that you needed on your team. Part of the reason why they went and drafted him when he was there is because you put in a word for him to be an Atlanta Falcon. What are you going to do with him? We need to see it on Sunday at 1 o'clock. No excuses. Or Dan Quinn, you got some decisions to make after week 2 if this falls on our face again as Falcons fans and players. That's all I'm saying. But I'm going to pretty much leave it right there. We already know what the deal is. We know we need this win. We know we need to rise up. Look, man, we cannot let a remix song go to waste in JD and Luda. Come on, man. The energy is there. Let's be the first team ever to play in our own hometown, hosting the Super Bowl and playing in it. And Falcons fans, be ready for the test because you already know it's coming. We already got a couple with week 1, and we already dealing with the situation with 2 key injured players. And we'll see how it goes, man. I'm excited about it. Look, you got, from what I'm hearing, Ricardo Allen now is going to take over the strong safety role for Keanu Neal, and DeMonte Casey is going to take over Ricardo Allen's role. But DeMonte Casey said both guys were swapping in and out between the strong safety and free safety role in the Eagles game. I don't see that being any different. And I think as the games go along, these guys are really going to have some serious communication. And I'm definitely excited about that, the playmaking ability that is now on this team. I want to see what some of these other guys look like that we've signed. I have no idea who Steven Means is. I heard that he's from the Eagles. It's the last stop he had. I don't know who have any of these. Corey Nelson, I don't know who this guy really is. And I don't know a lot about Jordan Richards, the safety that we traded for the New England Patriots. Now, Keith Tandy, I know a little bit about, and he made a lot of plays in 2016, and he fell off in 2017. But wherever these guys' roles are, I'm looking forward to seeing it on Sunday. Hey, I'm pretty much done with it, man. I'm declaring a win, and we continuing our winning streak over this team. We're 4-2 going in, and I look to be 5-2 coming out on Sunday. Hey, please comment, share, like, and subscribe if it's on your heart to do. Shout out to JR, man. Looking forward to getting with you soon. Peace. I'm Toby D. It's pound for pound. I'm out.